Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Bacon Hour podcast. I'm your host with the most voices, Steven, and my guest today is a avid comic book reader and a pro Tetris fanatic. Welcome, everybody. Carter, say hello, buddy.
Hi, nice to be here.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about a very super powered topic, and it's a very interesting comic. The name of it is... And with that, we're going to be delving a lot into its story, mainly the comic, because just a little warning for you people out there, this is a spoiler warning for all of you non-comic book readers who still probably want to get spoiled or not. Just don't listen to this episode. Anyways, so yeah, here we go. We're going to be talking about the beginning, the middle, and the end. You know, all of it, all 100 and something issues of it. How many were there? It's like 140,
25 volumes if 25? You want to break it up like that.
Wow, man. How did you read it, by the way?
I read it on my phone, like online through the Amazon.
The Amazon,
so the Kindle thing, and I got the free the free trials.
And you just sped read it.
Yeah.
Speed read of any percent. And what's it called? I did that too. I just had to also speed read it, and I wanted to find the freaking, what I think they're called, like TV.
The omnibus.
The omnibuses, yeah. I just to get a chunk of every volume and every whatever in just one go. I know that with the omnibuses, I think there's 20 or 20 something, because that's what I remember seeing for it. Anyways, let's talk about the beginning of the comic, and so let's delve right into. So, here we go. I guess we all know what happens in the beginning because of the animated series, but there are it doesn't really happen in the way at least in the order of things. There's it's a lot different because some things, and I'll probably talk about this much later in the episode, but there's some things that don't happen until much later, like a much later issue. So tell me, what were your thoughts when you were first reading it? Not expecting all of this because of the animated series.
I think the first thing that caught me off guard was just kind of how things were reordered. Because it was a pretty faithful remake, the animated series, but everything was just in a different order slightly. So and I'm kind of glad that they reordered it, because when you're reading the comics, it just feels like a normal superhero story, and that's not what you kind of sign up for when you read it.
You never do. You're not.
Yeah.
You have never read a superhero story until you've read it.
Yeah.
Man, those little fanfares are gonna kill me. But I would just get lazy now and just say it now. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, with Invincible, at least it's whatever happens in the story really does stick with these characters. There's no reset button.
Yeah.
Whoever dies, they die. Especially, I mean, I say the same for the Guardians of the Globe, because they're fucking dead. They're fucking
they just get murked.
They're moitered, man. Man. And we'll get into the real reason why Nolan has done that, but that's a very interesting thing. But we'll get that when we get to the middle. I like I mean the fight between Mark and Nolan, at least right then and there, I think the animated series still did it more justice than those little comic panels.
Yeah.
Because it really shows you such brutality, and it's just a hard thing to watch, seeing a dad beat his son. But god damn, dude. I mean,
it's a really emotional moment too. Behind all the gore and the crazy action, it's very emotional.
It is. What's it called? I really didn't expect to when I was reading it, I wasn't really expecting to hit it just as hard close to home, as the series did. But what's it called? I really like a lot of these characters, because they're like they're given like their own little, like, whether they like go out in their little side comics or whatever, or you only learn so much from them from the story. There's so much like detail behind them.
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of freaking, like, I don't know, like, especially with what's her name, Adam Eve. She's like struggling at home because of her dad's telling her this, her mom's telling her that, and she's like, I don't want any more of this, I'm gonna go live in Africa. Or like there's that whole thing like between like Rexplode, Adam Eve, and Duplicate. It's like,
God, that was a huge mess.
That was a huge mess, yeah. And then there's a Robot who's like fornicate. He's like trying to, he wants to become human, and then he like.
There's so much to unpack with Robot.
Dude, oh my God.
There's a hot mess express there that
we'll get to that right now. And then there's like the villains that come, not like come in and out, but like there's just a slew of like one shot villains that are like, they just come, they get defeated, and it's like boom, whatever. There's like the aliens that, like, you know, with like, oh, they age differently out here or whatever, right?
Oh, the
Flaxians. And then there's the Mauler twins.
Yeah.
The Mauler twins are like, I like how like towards the beginning of the series they're a threat, but like as the time goes on, they're just taken like less and less seriously, 'cause they're just arguing with each other.
They kind of become homies, like with
they do. And like, what's it called? There's just a lot of it. So let's talk about what's it called? Robot. Because I want to unpack that.
Oh, yeah.
I want to leave our listeners in suspense. So Robot, he's a robot, but he's actually not a robot. The robot you see in Invincible is actually just a drone controlled by this little freaky little
brain,
little Zach Hadel creature. And he's just like, please, I need body, right? And he's like, I can't do the DNA cloning thing without technology. And he goes and enlists the help of like the Mauler twins. And then from there, it just gets more complicated, because it turns out he took DNA from our buddy Rexplode here, and he turns himself into like a child version of him, because like he needs like a young body to like host or something.
Well, he wants to impress the girl who's stuck in the monster child body.
Yeah, the monster girl. Oh man, that entire thing.
That is a weird romance.
That was a weird romance, and their story is just, it's like complicated. It's just like, and then they have like. Oh my God, but let's go back. Oh man, we'll get to all of that, you know, right then there. But let's talk about our main titular character, Mr. Mark Grayson,
the man himself.
The title character of Invincible. It's a very optimistic title for a superhero name.
I really like Mark. I think his entire character arc of like becoming this naive kid who wants to be a superhero, by the end he doesn't want to be a superhero. He wants to be like just a mature adult who's there for his family.
He wants to be a mature, yes, he does. And also that, and he just like, he like learns about like sacrifice and like what he has to do rather than like what he wants to do.
Yeah. It's
just there's so many hard choices, just so many like tribulations and like hardships that this one singular super powered like adult just goes through, and it's just like, god damn, dude, he needs a fucking break.
I love what Kirkman does with his writing, because generally there's superheroes out there like Spider-Man who have to like deal with the day-to-day stuff, but they always have the optimistic view of a superhero, and they still want to be a superhero. And I really like how the end, like, Mark just realizes that the world isn't like that, and that
but he just
the most important thing is to be a family man.
Yeah, and he just accepts the world the way it is. There's no way to like really, you save the day once, you kind of won't expect it to be saved like another day, or like to be kept that way for like ever, and all that. What's it called? I just, from beginning to end, I really love, like, I liked every time there was something with like Mark, I always loved that more. Yeah. Because he's like just one of my favorite characters. And seeing him like just grow, like from the beginning of the comic where the art looked weird and all the way to the end. Yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I mean, this comic started in like 2001, I think, or like just 2000.
Early 2000.
No, it was 2003. And it was kind of not experimental, but it was just very simplified.
Yeah, the art definitely improves about like 5th volume, I'd say.
Yeah, and then then you get like really pretty ass looking Mark.
Yeah.
I don't. It's so weird seeing him seeing the art evolve over like the issues. It's like, yeah, dude, that was
black dots.
Yeah, no, that was my only gripe. That was my only gripe with the art was like the eyes.
Yeah,
there's little black dots. Nolan looked weird because he was just like from far away. He just looks like it's like a square face with like 2 dots and like a mustache, and it's like that's Nolan. But yeah, this series ran from like 2003 to like 2018, I think. So that's like
that long.
It's been that it's almost been like an entire decade and a half almost and the time span. I really wish I would have picked up this comic more earlier, but I didn't even know that this thing existed until the series. So I'm gonna let's move on a little bit to the middle of it. There's a lot of stuff to still unpack, and I really want to get that before the break. So about Monster Girl and Robot, that weird romance, that weird storyline. What did you think about that?
I like the general idea. I thought it was pretty solid overall. It did feel a bit disjointed just because like you have Mark's adventures and then like for one issue or like one volume, like you get half of it, it just stops and like here's a Monster Girl and Robot in the alternate universe.
Yeah.
And then they come back and like they kind of split up what happens across different volumes of like what they went through.
Yeah.
Overall I liked it, but I think he could have paced it a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because it's like you'll have a bunch of these characters as like side stories being sprinkled in between like Marx's adventures.
Yeah,
and it's like it's so weird because like one moment like this character's like doing this, they're in this situation, and then like I don't know, like 50 issues later they're like he's still there, like he's like.
Does the meanwhile.
Meanwhile, like 50 issues later. And it's like, god damn, dude. I thought of the whole like Monster Girl and like Robot thing, like it was pretty bittersweet in how it all ended.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like just the fact that they have like a weird like child that's like it's more Monster Girl than like Robot, but it's like it's so weird. But yeah, I agree. Like they could have paced it a lot better. I still liked it, and all that. What about like the Immortal and like Duplicate? You know how like the Immortal was like, I'm done with the superhero shit and like dying and shit. I'm gonna be a family guy, right? And so
yeah, it kind of makes sense for his character because he's just been a superhero since the beginning of time.
Yes,
this man was Abe Lincoln.
This man was like acting Abe Lincoln because like they like. I don't quite exactly remember like how it went, but I just remember like like the whole like apparently like the original Abraham Lincoln like died like way before his assassination, right? And so they like got this guy to like act as him for like the rest of the presidency right up until his assassination. It's like the Immortal never really died because I mean he's the Immortal who just come back.
Yeah, he's a really good foil to Mark because he kind of like outlines Mark becoming a family man, but he's not as stable as Mark. Like his relationship isn't as healthy.
No,
because he's willing to put his kids in danger to like fight back against when Robot goes bonkers.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And then there was what was his name, Cecil, and like how
Cecil.
Dude, I loved Cecil, man. I just everything about him was just like, hey, don't be talking about that, or like get on the goddamn case already or whatever, right? He's such like a bitter old man, but like he's like that because of like what happened with him like years prior before he became like the director of that half of the CIA or not CIA, the Homeland Security. I don't know what he was.
The Save the World Squad.
The Save the World Squad, yeah. But it's like it's understandable. He's like fucking all that. But yeah, the Immortal and Duplicate, like god damn it, dude. That was
Duplicate, dude. She gets around.
Yeah, she does.
She's a team breaker,
dude. No kidding, man. And then what about that whole dinosaur story? You know that guy, like the scientist, who like turns like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And like Mark wanted to like desperately save him from like the save the world squad because they're like trying to kill him, and it's like there's no other way, Mark. We gotta kill him. Now get the hell out of my way.
Yeah, it's definitely a big turning point for Mark's character when you realize that not everyone can be saved.
Yeah.
And I like what they're doing, but I mean, the dinosaur betrayed him like 3 times, and Mark was like, he still might be good, guys. Like,
he's still my
like,
bestie,
Mark,
man. Come on, dinosaur.
He nuked Las Vegas. Like,
he glassed Las Vegas.
it's all glass there, Mark.
Dude, oh my god, that was like, that entire like that one singular like panel of just him like standing over like glassed Las Vegas or what's left of it was like, god damn. Do you still trust him?
You still want to believe in him?
Yeah. And then that also brings me up to like another thing. Remember Oliver, his little blue brother, or like his alien half Viltrumite, half bug person brother. At first, I didn't like him.
Me neither. I don't. Really
I didn't like him because I was just like, great. Now it's gonna be one of those. Oh, he takes the spotlight from Mark and stuff. But I'm like, no. In fact, they made this little ass wipe. You know, they made me cry for him. Yeah. And I still call him asswipe because like because I just the way he was just kind of
he's kind of a stinker.
He kind of is a stinker, and like the way he was just kind of introduced, he was just like, and I know, you know, when Nolan flew away from Earth, he was like, "Oh, I went to go start another family." I'm like, "I did the thing I said back there," and it's like, "You son of a bitch."
Yeah.
I was like, because I was just like, I was at that point of reading it, I was just like, okay, I don't like Nolan. He's an asswipe, and I don't like his new son. He's also an asswipe. But as like time went on with reading the story, I was learning that just like, you know, oh, they've got their own struggles, they got their own thing. They're kind of like, you know, they're bringing me around to them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God damn it, Kirkman.
And the whole time you're thinking like, oh my, I really hope this kid doesn't become a villain, because by the then like his relationship with Mark is getting a lot better. Yes. They're feeling more like brothers.
Yeah.
But he has like this really bad, like he doesn't understand Earth morality.
No, he doesn't.
So you're just like, oh, like are they gonna fight?
Are they gonna fight? Are they gonna are we gonna get Nolan versus Mark 2.0?
Is Kirkman gonna do it again?
Is he gonna do it? And then was it him? It was him who told like the one Viltrumite guy who's like, hey, you know, go after Mark or something. Didn't he like slightly betray them because he thought like he'd have like a place in like the Viltrumite Empire or something? But then they killed him because of it, and they're like, I don't need you anymore, and like punch.
He wanted to do what was best for the Viltrumites, and he did try to get Mark on board for a bit. And then when he realized that wasn't going on, he's like, all right, just go attack them. Yeah,
go attack them. They're in a little house in an alien planet. Go get them. Oh man, dude, that's like that entire like thing was.
He does redeem himself.
He does, but like when he does, it's like too late.
Yeah, and he goes to save his niece and nephew, not really for Mark and Eve.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't. They got me. They got me. Same with Nolan, but we'll get to that after it a bit. And then there was like the secret Viltrumite. Like, oh, we're living amongst the Earth people, but like, you know, we'll leave you alone. But if you try something, I will kill you.
That was pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that was pretty nerve-wracking. I was like, oh my god, like, you know, you found out that like one, you know, you have the Viltrumite weakness, which is like the virus, and you also have like the little animals that like can actually like go toe to toe with them and actually kill them. But then you have this guy who's like, I only got a few of my strongest, and that is the entire Viltrumite empire. Like, that's it. But if you try something, you're done, okay?
We'll kill you before you kill us.
I will destroy this planet with my bare hands. I was like, oh my god, no.
On the middle is when Alan the alien got super buff.
Dude, he went from like
beats up everyone.
Yeah, he went from like being like oh yeah, he's like looks nice and healthy, and like by the end of it, he's like he can't even fit through doors, man. He's just like that. He's just that fucking strong.
He throws around Omniman like it's nothing.
I think Alan the alien, like his little side story was like, you know, man, like honestly, I think he could have deserved better with his wife or whoever that was. Was his wife?
His girlfriend?
His like girlfriend, his mistress or whatever. I'm just like, but like then again, like he was like, oh, I can't do this with you, and we all know what do this with you means.
Yeah.
But he was like, I can't do it because I need to breed with just as strong as alien as me, and he's just like he had it hard. And then the coalition, and one of the coalition tried to like fucking kill him. Or, like they try to like execute him because like, hey, we don't need someone like fuck the coalition at this point. It's not a thing anymore. And he's like, give up, right? And he's like, they try to kill him, and he's like, you can't kill me, and like, and then he's like, I like how he's voiced by Seth Rogen too. Who's that? Well, that's
him and Nolan as roommates is funny.
Yeah, I agree, man. Now let's cut to the end. Like, I want to talk about the ending to Invincible. All right. So there was that final battle with like, him versus like the freaking the one like last Viltrumite king or whatever, like the
His
guy.
name escapes me right now.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't Thrasher Nose. What am I talking about? Anyways, we all know him. That entire like fight scene, like at the end where they just like go into the sun, was like crazy. I was just like, wow, man, because it's like that's how like I can't wait to see that animated.
Yeah,
I just can't wait.
For listener context, the final battle takes place in the sun. Like,
oh yeah, they fight each other in space, and they like finally like get to like a sun, and they just like while they're fighting, like they're still punching each other, just like burning alive.
Yeah,
like slowly. It's like, oh, it's so like graphic, but it's like, oh my god, it's so. And then like Alan comes in clutch and just saves.
Alan and Robot Suit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they like come in clutch, and they pretty much just like destroy the last guy, and then that's pretty much restart the Viltrumite Empire. Except Mark kind of like doubts, like wanting to take over, and said he's like, Dad, you do it, and he's like, I can't, son. The guy punched me so hard that like I'm dead, right? Like he punched my heart like through my body. Like I can't be kept alive. I'm gonna die here. That part was like, oh man, like,
yeah,
you could have kept him alive, but like that's the final sacrifice that really makes a true hero, is having that one close one just die. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah, the two big dynamics were Mark and Eve, and then his relationship, Mark and Nolan, just as the father-son relationship. And by then, it finally got like 100% mended.
It did.
They were, if anything, they were closer than at the start of the series.
Yes.
Because everything was out in the open, and then finally, like that's when everything's full, said and done. They're healed. He loses his dad, which is such a like the thing that he had at the start, like is what he loses at the end, which is really like really tragic.
Yeah, and it's like it just makes it even. It's like it hits a lot harder knowing that like he has to like continue on without his father there by his side, and like to watch him like grow up into like, the Mark that we see at the end. Speaking of like the end and stuff, what did you think about like the fate, or not the fate, the his future, like Mark's future? How he's like he pretty much like made the Viltrumite. He remade the Viltrumite Empire the way his dad sort of lied to him, like explaining how it works. But even though he like lied to him that it doesn't work like that. What did you think about that?
I thought it was really sweet. And then it was just a really nice ending, which I did not expect from Kirkman, just because of how dark he likes to keep things. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh wow, this is a happy ending, and it was a pleasant surprise. It's
a happy ending, yes. We get a lot of loose ends tied up. We get Mark and Eve like, oh yeah, apparently Eve can't die because like every time she's like close to old age, she'll just like she'll press like the respawn button, and she'll just like
OP.
Yeah, dude, she can't die now.
She died like 3 times in the series, and she's like, I'm fine.
The first time we saw her like almost die, that fucking got me. I was like, no!
She got her face punched off.
No, I think she got her like
or her jaw punched off, right, or something.
Something like that, and then they punched like right through her. They turned her into like a donut. But yeah, that got me the first time. I was like, no,
like, right? They did it like that. Like...
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, respawn button, or like a tactical insertion. Press X to respawn, and then boom.
I remade all my atoms. I'm like, oh, you could do that.
I was like, oh, you do that? Okay, cool. So you're immortal.
Why couldn't you do that for Nolan on his deathbed? Remake his atoms.
Oh, that could have been. But she wasn't there. What's it called? But yeah, I like the ending to it. It's just a nice like wrap up to everything. You get to see like their daughter, what was her name, Tara? Yeah, Tara grow up. You get to see like how like there's the other like illegitimate child, which we won't get into because of reasons.
Yeah.
You have to read this. You have to read the comic to understand.
That's 18 plus.
That's too rated A for adult. But yeah, there's a child that he like illegitimately has, and he becomes like the new Invincible on Earth. So like he pretty much like threw the torch to this kid, and he was like, hey, learn about Earth morals and be a greater hero than me.
What do you think about Volume 24 with the alternate like timeline?
Oh, you mean where like he went back?
Yeah.
And he's like, I know everything. It's like, Dad, I know you're Viltrumite. It's like, you son of a bitch, and he like fights him, but they like actually like defeat him because like he knows like what's gonna happen. That was a trip for me because I was just like, wait, do I have to? Is there gonna be more issues to like read through the comic? No, it can't, right? That got me. That got me the first time because I was like, he knows everything. He's like he fought Nolan. Yeah. He tries to push the relation. He tries to do everything that he
do it right.
But then it's like doesn't like that weird like alien thing. The one that the thing like sent him back was like, wait, like
we'll just call it God.
Yeah, God or whatever, right? It like tells him like, wait, you don't want to like, something, and it's like, no, I don't. He's like, okay.
That was probably my favorite moment in the comic. Was like, Mark, you could be like the greatest hero ever. You could save the universe if you stay here.
In this reality where like nobody knows who you are yet, but you know everything. And he's like, no,
because he just loves his family.
Yeah, he's like, I have a family starting back home. I don't want to leave them. He's like, all right.
Yeah, that line where he's like, I'm not a hero. Like, I'm a dad.
I'm a family guy.
Yeah.
And then that. But yeah, going back a little bit, I did like the ending because it was just a nice wrap up to everything. We got to see everybody do like, all the loose ends tied up, and like just that very last moment in the comic where they're like at that little like gladiator ring, and they're like, I want my strongest. They're like in this alien planet, like, I want my strongest guy against your strongest fighter. And he's like, all right, there's my daughter, right? And then he's like, all right, fight. And it's like she like overpowers him just like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait, you won? It's like, well, you have no other choice. You have to kill me as like new ruler. And he's like, no, I don't kill. I want to make amends with your planet because that's what I do. That's what the Viltrumite Empire does. We help. It's like, oh yeah, I know I almost forgot about this, but remember like alternate reality marks? Remember with like all the different.
Oh my god! How do we forget about
that? I just thought. No, yeah, no. I just thought of like, remember Mark with a mustache? It was like that was one of the alternate reality marks. Well, banter. Mark? And then there was like. There's like that weird haircut mark where he's like just got the hair in the middle of it. Everything.
Oh, Mohawk mark.
Mohawk mark, yeah. And then there's like robot mark. There's just all a bunch of these marks.
Yeah.
And then there was like
parallel universe.
Oh, and then there was like Omniman mark where like he just becomes like
he like stays with his dad.
And right? he stays with his dad, and he wants to help him like control Earth and shit. Anyways, so there's that. We'll banter about a lot of that after that. Right after this small little break. Hope you like it. Here it is.
Come on, kids. If you want to grow up fast, take one of these. One puff and they'll soon be in my grasp.
Not so fast, nicotine. If you want to go up fast, take one of these. With my X-ray vision, I can see the harm cigarettes do inside people's bodies. That's why I never say yes to a cigarette.
And we're back. I hope you guys love that weird little commercial that I put that has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with this episode. So, anyways, I know I said in the beginning that we'll talk about the animated series and how great that is. So let's talk about the animated series, the animated adaptation for Invincible. What do you like about it? And what do you not like about it too?
I like the reordering, and I like how it kind of trims some of the fat. It kind of just gets straight to the point.
Yeah, it does.
What I know this has already been touched upon a lot, but the Amber thing where she knows that he was a superhero, I didn't like that. That was a really lazy attempt to subvert expectations.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it for more than 2 seconds, like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Also that, and it just kind of it makes Amber look like really like just a shitty person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked. I was like not I didn't know what to expect when I was watching it because prior to that I've never read the comic, but after like the season was done I was like, I gotta read the comic. But I really like just like first time watching this I was like, oh, it's gonna be another superhero show, you know, what's the big buzz about it? And then when I saw fucking Omni-Man just murder the Guardians of the Globe, I was like, this is not Spider-Man or fucking Superman story anymore. Although I don't know if anybody else would complain about it, but sometimes the animation would be kind of like, it's kind of janky sometimes, but like that makes sense because it's like it's
their first time.
It's their first time, and they're trying to translate pages, like illustrated pages, to like animation, and some things would come off.
I'm sure they'll get I think most of the budget probably went to the grade A voice acting talent.
Stephen Yoon, J.K. Simmons, Sandra Oh. I agree, but like I don't think it would be them without those voices. But I think if whenever they do season 2, they will probably amp the animation up or something, make it look a little more cleaner or something.
They're definitely gonna have a bigger budget.
They're probably especially after the reception that it got. Yeah, I'm sure it will. I also didn't like how like some scenes, like especially like if you had far away shots of like a crowd of people running, they're just like CGI models or something. I was like, what was that?
They kind of look like the Mii's and like Wii Sports, kind of just like hopping in the background.
When you play Wii Sports, you like do baseball or something, you see them just like run across the outfield. It's like
it looks like that.
It looks weird. And then there's a lot of there was this one particular scene, just this very small scene that I remember stopping like watching it and I was like, wait, why did they use that sound clip? Okay, so remember that guy who was like the rock guy, and he was like
Doc Seismic?
Doc Seismic, yeah. No, not Doc Seismic, it was the other guy. He was like the guy who can like turn into rock.
Turn into rock?
He was like the guy that was working for like Robot Head or whatever his name was, the guy with like the auto-tune voice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So there was a scene where he goes into like this warehouse and there's just a bunch of like drug dealers and stuff, and he's been ordered to just like off them all, right? Yeah. And then there was this one part where like he's like sneaking around, and then he happens to like catch the attention of one of the guys there, and all you just hear him say like, what the fuck? And I was like, that specific voice clip was like, wait, that's no one's voice. That's a fucking sound clip that's everybody using like a montage or something, like Apex Legends or something. And I was like, what? Why would they use that? I just had to like rehear it over and like, yeah, that's like a meme voice clip. That's not like anybody's voice. And then like speaking about Robot Head, his like auto-tune voice was like, yeah, I mean he's making music by just threatening the guy, but like is like, I know where your family is. I know what it got. I mean, I can't do it because
I'll make you into gravel for my driveway.
Dude, that was like the weirdest choice for like they could have just put like a robot, like not voice changer, but like a effect. But like they went like auto tune.
I kind of liked it.
It kind of was kind of cool, but it was just a weird choice for me at least.
Oh, that's when they bring out the what was his name?
Battle Beast?
Yes.
Oh, dude, Battle Beast
is... introduce him to casually the second most powerful dude in the universe.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He went toe-to-toe with one of the guys from the Viltrumite.
Scrag. That's his name.
Scrag. The guy who looks like Freddie Mercury. Dude, he can't be stopped. Another one bites the dust whenever Scrag comes to town, dude, another one just bites the dust. And, like, yeah. I guess I talked about what I didn't like about the animated series. What I do like, there's they're cutting out the fat. They're getting right to the point. The actors do a very good job. Yeah.
Like we didn't need the whole, like the comic didn't need the whole like Eve dating Mark's best friend for a bit before he comes out of the closet. Yeah. Like it didn't change anything.
It didn't.
So I kind of like how they just immediately started with him being like the gay friend, Yeah.
And
I even though Amber had like the dumb thing at the end, I felt like generally like up until episode 7, I felt like her character's a lot better than her comic book story part. Just because she had a lot more agency and more of a personality.
Yeah.
Amber in the comics was just something to like Mark to
was just like another like not a Mary Jane. What's the other one? Gwen's. It's like another Gwen Stacy.
Yeah,
in the comics at least.
Another thing for him to balance when it was like we've already seen this with like Spider-Man and Daredevil, like balancing relationships and stuff. So.
What about the differences in the comic and the series? Because I want to touch upon that. I want to get over the big one right now. Amber, all they really did with her was they just changed her race. Because in the comic, she's actually Caucasian.
Yeah.
And they like... I don't think it... Other than like her character, like, you know, what they added more to her, like the depth of her personality, that is really it. Just the change of race and then the more... personality puts her. That's all that changed. I didn't realize that before reading the comic, but
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either.
Like I feel like the only time where that becomes an issue is like if the character's race is like important to their story, which in her case it wasn't. Like if they were to change Milan to something different, like okay, like it doesn't make sense now.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But
it
like,
wouldn't.
Comic book Amber had like I can't name a personality trait of hers.
No, I can't. Other than just like. She was just Mark's girlfriend. That's it.
Kind of dumb.
She was kind of dumb.
She thought he was a drug dealer.
She doesn't have a great taste in guys.
No,
she doesn't. For context, comic book readers, you know what we're talking about. But non-comic book readers, you gotta go read the comic.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
The person who shrinks. That was a guy in the comic.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I forgot the shrinking person.
Do you remember early on in the comic where like Mark saves the day and like the guy who shrinks, he had like there was like this panel where it shows him like angry, like jealous that Mark saved the day. Mm-hmm. And like they did nothing with that.
They didn't. I thought he was gonna come back and be a problem.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, it's over, and he was never relevant.
No.
That's another character change I didn't mind because it doesn't matter.
I didn't mind that either. What else was a like difference? There was
the Omniman fight scene was just way better.
The dude. I remember there was the subway. You know, like the subway moment. The subway moment was just like glossed over a bit in the comic. Like you just happened like that, but in the thing there's just more depth to it. There's just like that entire sequence.
That's the worst thing you could do to a superhero. Use them to kill innocent people.
And just like in that way, it's just more. It's more terrifying. It's more like brutal and whatnot.
The pilot. When Mark saves the pilot from his dad. And then
and he's like
Omniman just jumps down and just crushes his skull like, look, it was easy.
Dude, well, look at what they have to use to mimic a fraction of our power.
Cecil in the show, I really liked how he had that moment with Omniman before Mark fights him. Mm-hmm. And he was using the teleporters to
and
that was a cool moment.
That was damn, you really went for the neck? Thought I knew you, Nolan.
The flag scene thing, I like how they expanded on that, where it shows what he actually did in there.
Oh yeah.
Because in the comic,
he just like goes and he like comes back.
He comes back with a beard. He's like,
it's another Tuesday.
And like, oh, you did an act of genocide, Omni-Man. Like,
Debbie's more complex.
Yeah.
It's from the series at least. Their comic.
She has more agency. Like they give her stuff to do.
They do. And all that.
I'm kind of sad that both the comic and the show did away with the devil investigator.
Yeah.
I mean, his point in the story was done. Like, I feel like he didn't. There's not much else he could have done, but I mean, he was still a cool character to have around.
He was, and then what's it called? I know it's like a small thing, but like in the comic, what's it called? Mark has like a tougher time learning to fly, or not in the comic. The show, I mean, he's has like a tougher time to fly, learn to fly and shit. Rather than like the comic, he's just like, whoop, I learned it, or like I know how to do it. It's like walking.
The comic does make up for it later by having Mark like do superhero workouts to like, get stronger. Like he does his own training arc and stuff. Mm-hmm. I really hope they bring back the comic book guy.
Oh, you mean the guy who
He makes
chats with right?
Yeah, the guy who makes the Dog Scientist comics.
Yeah.
And I like where he's like, yeah, I just reused the same panel to show surprise.
And then in the comic, there's like a joke in there, like, what?
He's doing it like as we're reading it, and I didn't notice it until I reread it. I was like, wait, oh my god, that's the joke.
I remember seeing like that picture of it on when Twitter as like, oh yeah, I use the same thing to show like a moment of like surprise. I'm like, what?
Saves time so they can reach deadlines.
So
it's a really interesting look at how
it is
the creative process and the deadlines they're given.
Oh yeah, also there's like events in the comic that don't take place till like maybe like issue. I mean, especially around the beginning.
Yeah.
Like stuff that doesn't take place till like issue 14. Like with Robot and like the Mauler twins, that doesn't take place till like a little bit after we're introduced.
Yeah.
Like I'd say like issue 14 or somewhere around there. Rather like in the show, it's like the second or so episode.
I thought them moving the Omni-Man, like killing the Guardian of the Globe thing to episode 1 was a brilliant move, because I feel like a lot of people probably would have been turned off by just seeing, oh, this is just another superhero origin, him trying to live up to his dad. Putting that to the front, like, because when I was reading it, if I didn't watch the show beforehand, at least the first episode, I would have been like, oh, okay, this is like, he's trying to live up to his dad's name. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
But having that twist of like, oh, his mentor is the villain, like,
what?
That is cool.
That was a strong ass hook.
Yeah.
That like pulled me out of the water. I wouldn't have not continued watching it had I like, just like, what the fuck? He killed everyone. Why? Right?
Yeah. I like the knockoff Batman. He just tries to kick Omni-Man.
He tries to like tackle him from above, and he just like, ow, boom. Dude, we're not gonna get another hero like Red Rush.
Oh,
because he was the only one. Get him a back brace, because he's carrying that whole ass team.
Yeah,
he's the only one that was able to like keep him on his toes.
Yeah, what's his name? Immortal just gets like rocked.
Oh yeah, even though he's like, he could probably go toe to toe with Omni-Man
for a little bit. Yeah,
for a little bit.
Yeah, the comic, they don't show that.
They just like show like these like panels full of like red.
Yeah.
And then you just see him like just in the shadows, just killing them. It's like, yeah, it's not like a spectacle like it is in the series.
Yeah, showing the actual brutal killing is really cool. And what's crazy, I really like how they set up the Guardians of the Globe as like important characters. They all like before they go to the cave, it's like the Martian. He's like with the kid. Remember? And she's like, oh, I'm gonna go with you. He goes, no, when I come back, like, you can go on the next mission. This kid's gonna be important. Like, they're sticking around, and then like they just all get killed.
Oh my gosh, that made me sad when I was like, oh, I'll be back. You can go to the next mission. Never comes back. Oh god.
That kid probably like starved. No guardian.
Not gonna lie, yeah. Oh my god, there's so much sadness in the thing. Anyways, let's move on to some questions, because I actually got some tasty little questions from people that actually asked the questions. I do encourage everyone to ask questions, but that's on you. Anyway, so we got a question from Noche Dolor, and he asks, does Goku solo Omni-Man?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, especially by the Super, like Goku and Super, where he has every Super Saiyan form and then Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
Because by the end of the show, not the show, at the end of the comic, like,
or at least
Omni-Man isn't even like, he's maybe top 5 in terms of strength.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he definitely gets surpassed. Like, he's already reached his limit by the time.
Like by the time we're at like that part of the comic where he gets like the handlebar mustache.
Yeah, by the time you meet him on the planet where he has the other kid, like, he's already reached his peak and he can't get any stronger.
Yeah, no.
So I mean, and Goku's just continually getting stronger.
Also that, and like Goku just has like martial arts on his he's like, it's a lot like having a bodybuilder go up against like, say, like a man who's like been trained in like martial arts. With one will probably overpower the other in strength, but like nothing will ever beat technique or something.
He doesn't even have like laser beams or anything.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, no. Okay, Goku's got all like ki power, and then he's got like, dude, Goku didn't probably need to go like Super Saiyan at least at best. He just
I think
kick his ass like that.
More comparable would be the Z Fighters.
Yeah.
Like Tien versus Omni-Man would be a good one.
Yamcha versus Mark Grace. No, nah, man. Yamcha's gonna. Yamcha could go toe to toe, but I wouldn't know.
I think. Well, he stopped training by Super, so he's kind of a chump in Super.
Yeah. Darn. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure people are going to get pissed, but I don't care. I don't care. I think Goku can solo Omniman.
Yeah.
It's just like
he's got too much going for him.
Yeah, he does, and like. I don't know, Omni-Man just, other than like, because like Viltrumites don't really have that much like special about them. They're just like
superhuman.
They're just super powered humans. Yeah. That's it. And their like only weakness is like, ow, my ears. You know, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, anyways, Poppily asks, is therapy free in the Invincible lore, and also favorite characters?
Is therapy free?
If
I think Mark and his family, yeah.
I think
government pays for it.
I think government pays for your therapy.
But for every other person,
yeah, you don't get free therapy.
And then, what was the second part?
The second part was any favorite characters.
Definitely Mark. He just has the most consistent arc, and he definitely builds off a lot of characters and grows. Like I said, like the line in 24.
I do love Mark. I gotta say this now. I don't like that second costume he had where he looked like Nightwing with like the black and blue.
Oh yeah.
I don't like those colors. I just really love the yellow, blue, and black because it's just like it's been with me for like the beginning of the
I hate the black eye covers.
Oh yeah,
they look like bug eyes.
Yeah, dude, that's weird.
Yeah, definitely Mark for his character.
Yeah, another favorite character of mine is, man, I gotta think about this. Probably Robot, because he's got like. He's quite literally just like the Iron Man of Image Comics' thing. Also Cecil. I love Cecil.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters to love.
There is.
I mean, I like Eve. She was just like a sweet person.
She was.
And Omni-Man, he was a very complex character.
He was. But yeah, those are mine and his favorite characters. All right, our next and final question comes from Hello Cupcake, and she asks, what are your thoughts on the Invincible cast? Did anyone's performance stand out to you, and why?
Oh, okay. The voice cast, right?
Yes.
I think they all did a really good job, and it's a good job when you're reading the comics and you hear the character. Like when you're reading, you hear the character.
You hear Stephen Yeun. You hear J.K. I can't imagine Omni-Man as like his voice anymore without like fucking J.K. Simmons. I think both of those, like just the two, like Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons, their performance together was just so like I loved it, especially like at the very like peak end of the first season when they had the fight. It was just so great. Stephen Yeun does like so like you can't like there's such an art behind voice acting, and they've just nailed it.
The line read when he was like, "I'd have you, Dad."
Yeah,
like that was really good.
Oh man.
Yeah. So the voice actors did an amazing job.
They did.
It's hard to pick a favorite between J.K. Simmons and Stephen Yeun. They just did an amazing job.
Yeah, I agree. That's just so good, man. Man, I can't. You just can't imagine. Like, if you're ever reading the comic and after you've seen the series, just tell us if you still hear like J.K. Simmons, Stephen Yeun, Sandra Oh, like everybody that you've heard in the series, because I sure do.
Respect to Seth Rogen for showing restraint. Like when I saw that he was like a voice actor, I'm like, oh, like this guy's just gonna be the obnoxious kind of like comic relief, and I'm like, okay, Alan has like serious dialogue.
I want to see what they can do with like, especially like later on in like Alan's storyline, what they could do with like Seth Rogen, because like they enough direction and like getting him into like those serious scenes, like you can. Like with voice acting, you can really get like the best take.
He's gonna absolutely shine when him and Nolan become roommates. Like that just feels like a situation tailor made for Seth Rogen.
Dude, yeah. I can't wait to hear like the other voices of whoever's gonna be chosen for that.
Yeah.
And all that. Any closing thoughts, my good man?
It's just a really good series. The animation. Like the animated series did a good job of adapting the source material, and I'd highly recommend reading it.
Yeah, there's like hardly any few. There's only just a few differences between the comic and the series. Like the series is really faithful to the comics.
it's on par with like season 1 Game of Thrones in terms of like faithful, like really good adaptation.
Yeah.
So I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, me too. I have to say a few words. I do love this comic. I do love Invincible. I really do encourage everyone who hasn't already to go read it, because it's not, to me, it's not like any other like comic book series that you've seen out there with like Marvel or DC. Now, Image Comics knows how to like really tell a story and like know where to end it, and it's just like you get everything. You get the whole package deal. You get lore, you get story, you get little moments in between, and it's like, and it's all just a single storyline. Yes, there are like little like optional reads you can read like in between to get more like context out of it or whatever, but if you just read the straight like Invincible, like just the whole story all the way through, you'll just be satisfied either way. That's what I think of it. The series, I like it because, I mean, again, faithfully adapting the source material, and then there's like, you know, the really fantastic cast and all that. Also, the little funny moments in between. Just the memes that came out of this series was funny.
Think, Mark, think.
It's funny how like you never said that, and like we're all doing like a singular Mandela effect. He did say it in the comics, but like he didn't say it in the series.
I like the line. I thought the line, "Look at what you made me do," was gonna be the meme, and I was like, "Oh, okay, we went think, Mark, think."
Look at what you made me do. I know recently there's been like a small portion of memes that came out where it's like when like Mark's like, I don't want to have to spend another minute on this planet with these animals. And I was like, oh my god. Well, yeah, that's our closing thoughts for and you know, everything that came with it. I'm gonna just put a fanfare there. Do you have any plugins that you wanna?
Yeah, I'll do a plugin, and then since it's comic themed, I'll give a couple of comic recommendations. Oh
yeah, okay.
So you can follow me on Twitch. I stream occasionally for pretty much for Tetris tournaments, or I'll stream my practice sessions.
He's not a pro for nothing, guys.
So you could follow me there at twitch.tv/potatoassassin and then the number 8. And then
I'll put it in the description, by the way.
Oh yeah,
all of this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I don't have any other social media aside from that. And then for comics, if you really like subversive takes, I would highly recommend Fables. That's a really good DC comic. Why the Last Man? That's not a superhero comic, but it's still really good. It's like a subversive take on like an apocalypse, so it's really good. I read a whole volume in like one night. It's amazing. And then if you want something more traditional, I would definitely recommend Daredevil's Back in Black series. That's just like a traditional story, a superhero story. That's amazing.
Sweet.
Thank you for having me on, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Since we're doing comic book recommendations, there is, I guess, just one comic. If you want more, like, really, like, serious, like, does a different take on the superhero genre comic, go read The Boys, because I know it's really good, and you can even go watch the show too, because it's also really good. That's pretty much it. There was this other one that I would have recommended, but like the name escapes me. I don't know.
What's it about?
It's about like it's kind of like doing the whole like, oh, what if Superman was evil type thing, except like
Injustice.
No, it's like he wants to do good, but like he always ends up like fucking up. Like he's like,
oh,
it's called like, it's almost titled like Invincible. It's like into something. I don't. I'll probably put it in the description somewhere if you look. But yeah, my social is also down there in the description if you guys want to go follow me too on Twitter. I should get an Instagram, but I don't know when that's gonna be. Other than that, yeah, thank you for coming in and doing this episode with me.
Man. It was a blast. I gotta catch my flight back home.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, sweet man, sweet. You go fly high, man. All right, well, I guess that does it for our episode of Invincible. I'm Steven, and my guest today here was Carter, pro Tetris fanatic and avid comic book reader. Join me next episode when we'll be discussing our thoughts on Hideki Anno's mindfuck of a series, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Have a beautiful day, everybody.